ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यदविद्याविलासेन भूतभौतिकसृष्ट्या तं नौमि परमात्मानं सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहम्. Okay, so last time we saw all the principles of communication. Okay. To sum up, intention has to be equal to expression, has to be equal to understanding. All systems are geared for this. Seek to understand before you seek to be understood. Understanding is not equal to agreement. Then we are ready to understand anything and everything. Okay. So then say what you will do and do what you will say. This is communicating with integrity. And of course, non-violent communication, ahimsa communication. Satyam priyam hitam. Satyam hitam priyam vada. Say speak the truth if it is going to help people. And if you have to speak an unpleasant truth, please speak it in a nice manner, in an assertive manner, not an accusatory manner. So all this we saw last time, all the principles. This is not mentioned in this book because in Indian culture this was a given. How did we pick it up? Dance, drama, music, all this. This is how this is all cultural context. So this is how these things were communicated. Even body language people understood through the cultural context. Okay? Because body language is not an isolation. It always has a cultural context behind it. And if you understand dance, you will understand body language. Because dance is all about body language. Whether it's Eastern, Western, whatever. It's all about communicating through the body. Yeah. So, body language comes into the picture. So, all that is this thing. Here he speaks about only with regarding to Shabda pramanam. If you look at what we do in Vedanta, 65% is body language, only 35% is verbal. Out of 35 also a lot of things is taken care of by the tone, this, that, etc. What is left behind is all that is available for communicating Vedanta. Yeah, that's all that is available. That's why it's not easy to communicate or understand Vedanta. Because what is available is a very limited thing. How much of body language can you use? I'm Ananda. It is available only to negate certain things like this, okay? Yeah. Otherwise, body language will misguide in Vedanta. It will be calm, peaceful, centered. Then you think you have to be like that all the time. Yeah. So, only thing what is available is that little verbal stuff. That's all that is available. And so here the focus is on only that. Okay, the focus is only that. All right. So he says, Atha agama nirupyate. Now we are talking about agama pramana. Okay. Okay. Agama generally refers to, okay, in broad context, whatever is verbally said, but Veda or depending upon the Veda. Okay. That's Agama. Agama means Veda actually. And allied works that depend on the Veda also is discussed here. Agama nirupyate. Now, how is it a pramanam? Very interesting, he says. Yatha vakyasya tatparya vishibhuta samsargaha manantarena na bhadyate tad vakyam pramanam. Yad vakya tatparya vishibhuta samsargaha. Yad vakyam, that sentence. Now any sentence has to be a samsarga, a group of words. Groups of words together. That tatparya vishibhutam, that has got a tatparya in it, an intention, a well ascertained intention. Okay? Manantarena na bhadyate, that is not negated by any other pramana, like perception, etc. That vakyam is called pramanam. That means what? It has to be a statement of intention. It has to be an intent, tatparya. Okay? Meaningfully combined together. And it should not be contradicted by another pramana. Such a vakyam becomes pramanam. So it's protected from all sides. Okay? Now this can be applied for any Shabda, any vakya. But remember, the main discussion is with respect to the Veda, okay, the Upanishad. Okay. Vakyajanya jnane cha akanksha yogyata asaktaya tatparya jnanam cheti chatvari karanani. Now there are 4 things, 4 karanas for Shabda Jnanam to take place. What is that? Akanksha, an expectancy. Okay. Yogita, appropriateness. Okay. Asakti. Asakti is what? Okay. Consistency. Okay. Tatparyam, intention. If these 4 things are there, the Vakya will make sense. Now, what are those 4 things? He will elaborate. That's why I don't elaborate it here. He is taking each one. First, he is taking his akanksha, expectancy. What do you mean by that? Tatra padarthanam paraspara jijnasa vishaya tvayoho yogyatvam akanksha. When you say one word, you are expecting that something will follow. That expectancy is akanksha. Like I will say, bring. Bring what? Book, phone, tea, something. There is an expectancy. Okay? There is an expectancy. Similarly, if I say tea, what? Is coming, or there is an expectancy. Only then a sentence is complete. Na? Supposing I say book, chair, table. What is that? It is just listing things. It is not a sentence. In a sentence, there has to be an expectancy. Only then a sentence is complete. Otherwise, the sentence is not complete. Supposing I say otherwise and I leave it. Otherwise what? There is an expectancy. That's why it makes a meaningful sentence. Okay? That's called expectancy. Now you come, okay. He says that here. Kriya shravane karakasya karaka shravane kriyayaha. Kriya shravane. Kriya means verb. When you hear the verb, there is an expectancy of the object. Bring what? Book, tea, coffee, whatever. Bring. There is an expectancy of something. Karaka. That's called the karaka. Or who should bring? That also will be the question. Yeah. Yeah. And karaka shravane. When you hear the noun, kriyaya, there is an expectancy of what to do. Tea. Tea. Drink. Don't drink. Keep it out. Order. Whatever. There is an expectancy. That expectancy makes a sentence. If there is no expectancy, there is no sentence. If the expectancy is not fulfilled, there is no sentence. Tea, book, table. No, there can be an expectancy. What to do with that? Nothing. The sentence is not complete. When you hear the verb, you should think of the noun. When you hear the noun, it's true in any language. This much is true in any language. Yeah. Karna, okay, kriyayaha karna shavrai iti kartavya cha jijnasitatvad. Okay. Karana shravane. When you think of instruments, karanam, okay. Okay. Then what? Iti kartavyatah jijnasitavya. Then there is a jijnasa or an expectancy to know what to do with it, how to do it. Okay. Mic. Expectancy. What do you want to do with that? Switch it on, switch it off. What? How to use it? Iti kartavyata. Iti kartavyata means a process of an action. Iti kartavyata. Thus it is done. Literal meaning would be that. That is why you will find. Now, why is he mentioning it here? The Veda will mention things. Agnihotra will be mentioned. Materials will be mentioned. Mantras will be mentioned. All mentioned. How do you put it all together? There are special texts for that. It's called Iti Kartavyata. Yeah. I want to learn how to do the Agnihotra. I look at the Veda. Nahi pata lagega. You won't understand it. Because how do you fit all this? Where what mantra will be used, how it is done, all that has to be, there is a huge analysis for the whole thing. The Uttaramimamsa. And from that analysis, that's methodology. Like how we have Upakrama, Upasamhara, etc. There they will have proximity, which is close, which is far. Direct statement, implied statement. Direct statement is stronger than implied statement. Proximity is stronger than remoteness. All those things the analysis is different. Based on this, the book of Iti Kartavyata comes up. How to do this particular action. When to chant what mantra. Some story may be said, oh, that is Arthavada. But that Arthavada has a meaning. We have heard that when we are doing the Brahma Sutras. Agni was prevented. It comes in the context. Okay? Come on. It's not yet 12. You're not supposed to go before 12. Okay? 12 o'clock is your time. Dekha, it came on. It came on properly. Okay, but I have to see whether I can't see all of them. Guys, can you hear me?
No, Swamiji, we can't see you and not hear you clearly also. The
Okay.
connection is not clear at all.
Okay, hold on. You'll have to give me a minute, okay? Mobile hotspot, okay. Yes. Someone dropped out and it's difficult for him to join back also. आज थोड़ा जल्दी गया. It normally starts giving trouble at 12 o'clock roughly.
Match analysis, pre-match, the discussions that they have. Best thing is to go in the local train. I've got how many versions of the match will come up. Ladies,
A lot of people are watching the match also on internet. That's why today. So they want to listen to all the pre-match stuff, you know. Yes, I think I'm back. I didn't go anywhere. I was right here. Okay. So, the book of Iti Kartavyata will put all that thing together. Okay. That's how the whole thing goes on. Okay. Then he says, अजिज्ञासो अपि वाक्यार्थबोधात् योग्यत्वम् उपपादात्. Okay. Okay. Well, similarly, he says even if somebody is not thinking of it, he heard a statement, do intermittent fasting. So now, worldly example. He doesn't have any jignasa to know what is intermittent fasting. In fact, he doesn't want to know anything about fasting. Okay? He doesn't want to know. But he says it is appropriate to have the jignasa there. Because for someone who is interested, he will have the jignasa. It's not that the whole world will have jignasa. For who is interested, they will have the jignasa. It's appropriate to use the word that jignasa has to be there for iti kartavyata. Okay. Tad avechedaka. Why is it going off again today? This is good. Doesn't have problems. Yeah. Huh? No. This also connection is low. Okay. Connection is low. Okay. Okay. तद अवच्छेदत क्रियात्मकारकत्वादिदमिति न अतिव्याप्ति गौरश्चेत्यादौ. Okay. He says, if you hear about an action, if you are hearing about an action, then how to go about it, etc., becomes avachedaka for it. Avachedaka meaning it becomes a limiting adjunct. Okay? Like I said, intermittent fasting. Okay, how to go about it? What should be the time gap? There is bound to be, when you hear about an action, fasting is action there. So because of that, there is a natural, the limiting factor will be how to go about it. No? Avachedaka is a defining factor. So how to go about it will become inevitable if you are going to hear an action. Okay. Tad avachekadancha kriyatva karakatvadi iti na ativyapti gaurasyatyada. Now don't say iti kartavyata should include kriya, the karaka, etc., etc., etc. Hey, that all is understood by other things. Otherwise, it will become na ativyapti. Don't extend it up to there. It will become too elaborate. Iti kartavyata deals with action. Let it be there. Again, you come. Okay. Iti kartavyata deals with the action. So, let it remain there, he says. Don't go on into all other part of it. Karaka, etc. is evident because the expectancy naturally there. When you hear an action, akanksha for the person is there. Noun is there. So all that will come with the general akanksha. Iti kartavyata will refer only to the process, he says. Iti kartavyata is referring only to the process. Okay. The Gauravascha. अभेदान्वेच सामान विभक्ति का पद प्रतिपाद्यत्वम तद अवच्छेदकत्वम तत्वमस्यादि वाक्यम न अव्याप्ति. All right. People know I have a class there. Why are you calling me at this time and disturbing the connection? You know, when people want to say something, they get so excited about what they have to say, they forget. Okay. Now look at it. What about Tattvamasyadi Vakyam? It's an intransitive verb there. No action is involved. No action is involved. Correct? So what is the iti kartavyata there? He says na avyapti. That means iti kartavyata is covered there, is part of the game. So in Tattvamasi, how will you say iti kartavyata is there? Because there is nothing to be done. So that iti kartavyata will become in terms of how do you understand. In fact, we have elaborate logic for that. No? Samanadhikarnyam, Visheshna Vishesha Bhava, and because there is not applicable Lakshana, all that is there. Therefore, na avyapti. You can't say that there always Tattvamasi will become apramani. The whole pramana is based on Tattvamasi, and that will become apramani then. Therefore, he is supposed to say na avyapti. That also has to be included. Remember, all this comes up because he is not limiting it to Vedanta. It's the whole Shabda pramanam. And when you take the whole Shabda pramanam, the whole Veda is a pramanam. Yeah. Upanishad is pramanam because it's part of the Veda. If you say Upanishad is independent of the Veda, it won't become pramanam. Yeah. It's part of the Veda. Therefore, you have to be, when you're talking of Shabda pramanam, you have to be global enough for that. Though the main focus will be on Upanishad, it's global enough to include that. Okay. Up to here clear? Which one? This iti kartavyata. See, when you hear of an action, it is natural to think of how to do it. No? How do you want it done? Okay. So that how do you want it done is called iti kartavyata. In the Veda part of it, there are separate books for it. Now he says, by iti kartavyata, don't bring in karaka and all that, because karaka comes from simple akanksha, the karaka comes in. Simple expectancy, the karaka will come in. Therefore, don't bring in those things. It will become unnecessarily elaborate. Then he says, don't say it's not applicable for Tattvamasi. Because because there is no action. There need not be an action. It's a verb of being. Verb is there. As long as there is a verb, it is a sentence. You can stop it there itself. Then how do you understand the question? Therefore, whatever, there is no iti kartavyata. This is how it has to be done. But there is something about how to understand it. So that much will come into the picture. Yeah. Remember, understanding is not reaction. It's only after understanding you can have action. Or mechanically without understanding you can do. Okay. But even if you are doing it mechanically, you should understand the steps. No? You should understand the steps. How will be a problem? With anything it is like that. Making a cup of tea, it is the same. Just put tea, put milk, put water and boil. वो order में चलेगा. You get the tea burnt in this thing. So that is where the whole thing comes into the picture. Yeah.
What is expectancy in Tattvamasi?
Akanksha, when you hear something, you will expect something. No?
So in Tattvamasi, how do you?
Ha, tat. I am saying tat. That. What is that? Tvam, you. Ha, you. What? Tvamasi, you are. Compliment देता है क्या गाली? Are you complimenting me or abusing me? Can you see? There is an expectancy. Yeah.
So, Swami, this definition will apply both to Vyavhara.
Yeah.
Because then action is there and also in understanding, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not limited. Yeah, its focus is there, but it's not limited to that. Yeah. That's when Tattvamasi, all of them come. Akanksha comes in, Samsarga comes in, Tatparya comes in. All the thing comes in. Yeah. Yeah.
But probably there's an elaborate process involved in understanding. Is that process not an action like all of them?
Not really, because the process of understanding. It's like, see, I have to open my eyes to see. Opening my eyes, I can say, that's an action. But seeing is not an action. Same way here. Yeah. There may be some analysis which is talked about as action, but it's meant for an understanding. Yeah. See, it's a question like this. in the previous section, after understanding there is action. After jnanam, there is action. So to understand also there is a certain things to be done. No? Even for understanding in previous section, you have to know which karma goes with which mantra, etc. You have to understand which karma is meant for what. Okay. I want to become a sannyasi and I am doing putra kameshti. Problem ho jayega. So you have to understand all that. And after understanding, you have to act. Correct? Then you gain the karma jnanam, then you have to do the karma. Whereas in Tattvamasi Ityadi, you understand that's the ending of it.
So, Swamiji, when I'm listening to Tattvamasi, at least listening is becoming an action. Because how do I then...
Hey, that is called pramana vyapara. It's not called an action. Because if there is an action, there are three possibilities in it. Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum shakya. Can be done, need not be done, can be done differently. It is open to your choice. Coming here is an action. Took a train, bus, whatever, and you came here. That's an action. Correct? Now, try to sit here, don't daydream, keep your mind behind your ears, and try not listening to me. You can't. Words will come. There's no choice in that. Jnanam is choiceless. Remember, knowledge is choiceless. Old example. What is this pen? Don't see it. Don't know this is a pen. As long as you're looking here, you will see it. You can't avoid it. Can you see? It's choiceless. Choice means I can do it differently. Can you know this differently? No, it's not a pen. You can use it differently. Because using is action. Therefore, you don't have to use it as a pen, you can use it as a paperweight. Fine. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. That is how you use. There your choice comes in. This is a pen. There is no choice. Therefore, there is no action. The difference between karma being Purusha Tantram and Jnanam being Vastu Tantram. Karma is Purusha Tantram, depends on the person. Can do it, Kartam Shakya. Need not do it, Akartam Shakya. Anyatha Akartam Shakyam, I can do it in 100 different ways. Jnanam, I can know it as a pen, I can know it as an eagle. I can't. It's not Purusha Tantram, Vastu Tantram, it has to be known exactly like that. Therefore, if Shabda is going to give you knowledge, it has to be the same. You have to know it as, that's why I said, intention has to be equal to expression, has to be equal to your understanding, the fundamental principle. Otherwise, how will it work? Can you see? Yeah. The principle coming into the play. And there is where all the problems will happen. Why? I have something here. By the time I set it, there is some entropy. Some limits have come in. How do I express? Many of you will say that now when I ask you to, supposing I ask you to talk about some Vedanta topic. I know, but I can't find the words to express it. Between this and this gap here. Can't avoid. Yeah. Yeah?
But Swami, just as an example, in chapter 6 of Gita, when Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that once you are on this path of a yoga, if you are a yoga brashta, you will get enough punyam that you will come back.
Yeah.
It almost feels as though it's presented as a karma. Right?
No. Your birth and death is presented like that. He says, because your understanding is not yet complete.
Yeah.
That is why he says that. For understanding, you have to do a few things. Besides pramana vyapara.
And that he says accrues punyam,
Yeah.
sufficient punyam that you will
Yeah.
be born again as
Correct. So that part is karma, all right. That part is karma.
That's not the jnana.
No. That rebirth, you'll be born again to pick up the thread. All that is karma.
Swamiji, this Iti Kartavya in this
Huh?
Tattvamasi,
No,
this Iti Kartavya,
not really there except as a process of understanding.
or maybe the sadhana.
No, sadhana chatushtayam iti kartavya. Yeah, but again, because you have to develop those qualities, na? So for that action is necessary. Pariksha lokan, that's what is necessary. So all that comes into the picture.
So then first is expectancy, then there is a jignasa.
No.
How
Here,
is he explaining this line?
that this is dealing with expectancy. That expectancy can be because there is an anticipation, jignasa, you want to know. Yeah. Poor people who are online will really struggle today because the connections are poor. All those of you who are online, my apologies, you will be struggling today. I think too many people are watching the match and the pre-match things on the net. Okay, so even this is giving trouble. Yeah.
Swamiji, how to avoid that entropy?
How to avoid? Yes, as I said, from here to here, there is an entropy. Therefore, being very conscious of how I use my words. Be very conscious. Very often we say things and say, I am sorry, I didn't mean that. Why are you saying that? So, this is where your understanding of language also will come into the picture. No? Like if I am talking, okay? English I can communicate, Sanskrit I can communicate. You ask me to communicate in any other language, I will struggle. Therefore, there will be more entropy between my intention and my expression. Will be there. Yeah. Can't avoid it. If your understanding of language, your understanding of the nuances of the language. Now, if you look at English, it's not a very precise language. Words are grown by use and abuse. Like if I tell a padri today, if I tell him, silly Christ, how dare you call Christ silly? Unless he is thorough with the Bible. In the Bible, the word silly Christ has been used. There, silly meant innocent. This word silly meant innocent. Today, what is the meaning of the word silly? Naivety, stupidity. Can you see how the meaning has evolved? There is no precision there, meaning words are evolved. But it is because of that, it's also very flexible. And it has borrowed words from all languages. Veranda, jungle. These are not English words, these are Hindi words. These are words from India, Hindi. Manchan. Yeah. So, one is precision of language. That's why Sanskrit as a language evolved to express this. That's why it's much more precise. Because it evolved to express this. By the way you use the words, how it evolves from the root, the meaning evolves from the root. Therefore, there's a precision there. So that is one thing, in terms of my expression. Then in terms of my understanding also same thing. Na? How well I understand? That means what? How well I listen. How well I listen. And how well I know to understand the meaning behind the words. How empathetic I am. There's something called empathy, no? That's why before you come to Vedanta, you have to develop some empathy. Otherwise, I'm telling you, you will pick up the words, you will not pick up the meaning. The essence will not be picked up. You are Ananda. Correct. Ananda means limitlessness. Okay. How are you feeling? Are you getting it? Yeah. that empathy is necessary when someone is speaking. That's why I said understanding is not equal to agreement. You have to drop your defensiveness. When somebody is telling something, I have to drop my defensiveness. It's important. And my favorite example, kid comes home from school, throws the bag on the sofa, the stupid school, I don't want to go. What are you going to do? Give a bhashan, give a talk on how important education is? Or understand what the guy is feeling and reflect that in a statement. Yeah. I have told this example n number of times. He is most probably feeling bugged, angry at something that happened. So you have to learn to, empathy is also learning to reflect that. Boy, you are bugged. Looks like something nasty happened in school today. Would you like to talk? Then the kid will open up. Why? Because you understood the feeling. You say, what happened? Nothing. You don't understand anything. Typical youngster. Those who have been parents will understand. This is typical youngster. That's empathy. So that empathy will give you that insight and understanding. So empathy prevents that gap coming in. Yeah. In Vedanta, it will be more about the nuances of the words. The nuance of the words. Which, if you notice in the class, I explain the nuances. And those nuances have to be clear. If there is no empathy in a person, Vedanta will be difficult. Not that you won't get it. Difficult. Because to understand Ananda, there is an emotional component. After you know, you have to be Ananda. Na? Be Ananda, you are Ananda. Are you feeling it? What is the question or the point in understanding? Yes, I am Ananda. And what are you feeling? Ananda. There is no Jivan Mukti Avastha then. There is no Jivan Mukti Avastha. Where is Jivan Mukti Avastha? There is no Jivan Mukti then. It is like one sadhu told me in Rishikesh. ये तो साधु को कोई सुख नहीं है, दुख नहीं है. There is neither joy nor sorrow for a sadhu. ऐसा ही है. That is not what. Yeah. So that emotional opening up becomes very necessary for understanding Vedanta. Otherwise, the phalam of Vedanta is not there. Where is Ishvara? Cosmic order. Fine. Yeah, whole order is Ishvara. How do you feel? You feel everything is divine? Everything is sacred? Everything is sacred, no? Do you feel that? Remember what Swami Chinmayanji used to say? What has gone in through the ears should sink into the heart. That's sinking into the heart. You know, I was talking like this when one of my older students, what is this emotions? I said, do you love your wife? Yeah, I married her, no? That like our old Hindi film dialogues. Remember our old Hindi film dialogues? Father is telling the son, go marry him, marry that girl. But Dad, I don't love. Who asked you to love? I asked you to marry. That is old Hindi film. तेरे को प्यार करने को कौन बोला? शादी करने को बोला है? Doesn't work like that. So this guy came to me, I married her. I said, when was the last time you told her I love you? Wife ko? Haan, wife ko. I don't remember. He actually said this, I'm not joking. He actually said, I don't remember when was the last time I told my wife I love you. Meaningless repeating every morning, that is, if you don't want to do that, I can understand that. That's just meaningless. Ritual. Hey, good morning, I love you. What is the big deal about it? That's meaningless. See, can you see how there is no emotion in it? Yeah. So he said, Swamiji, I don't feel anything. How do I feel? Love is what you care for someone. No? That's enough. No? You do something for someone. No? This is much more than that. So how do I open up this guy's heart? I said, where do you feel some emotion coming up? With nature? Okay. It's a tough case. Even nature also, if he is not going to feel anything, the case is tough. Then I explored various things. Swamiji, I like old Hindi songs. Baj gaya. There is a way open now. I said, listen to all the old romantic Hindi songs. That is your sadhana. Strange guru, gives all types of sadhana. Old Hindi romantic songs you listen to. He did that. Because the guy took me seriously, Somebody else may say, kya hai? I come to study Vedanta, not listen to romantic songs. But that guy took me seriously enough to say that, okay. After 3 months, next camp, 6 months. How do you feel now? Better. Have you told her yet that you love her? No. Phone and tell her? Okay. He told her, I love you. And he meant it, okay? At the beginning, the wife was very happy. Oh, yeah. Then she asked, what wrong thing have you done? He's never told me this. Are you planning to do something wrong? That is another lack of empathy. Can you see now how life and relationships become difficult? You can't run away from that and come and understand Vedanta. This is supposed to have been taken care of before you come to Vedanta. Modern youngsters, I don't have to bother. Love this, that, they know all that. They have done enough of it and more. It's to empathize. That is what will prevent distortion of meaning. To be very, very logical and to be empathetic. Both together will take care of that. Highly logical mind, at the same time empathy. The development of empathy. That will reduce the chances of distortion. And of course, no problem in terms of a Vedanta class always interactive. You always can check your understanding and things like that. Clear? That's the whole thing. Yeah. And best was me telling him as sadhana. Okay? Okay, we can do something more. All right. Now he is going into little bit technicalities of the Veda. Now, you also have to see in the Veda or even in legal document. Isn't there something called relative strength? Document में आता है, legal में. Okay. Let us say a will is not made. Okay. There is no will made. A person is gone. He has not made a will. Go to his lawyer, this, that, etc. And you find a small letter he has written to his wife. Yeah? My dear, you are the best thing that happened to me. And I have not yet made a will, but I want to tell you this, that I want to leave everything I possess to you. There is no will. How will a court decide on that document? Will it be taken seriously, that letter?
In the court of law, it is not a legal document.
It's not a legal. Now, my question is very subtle. I said, how will you look at it? Will that be taken as a statement of intention?
Yes, it will be, but still
It's not a legal document. Ha. Now, can you see, here is where the doctrine of relative strength comes in. A legal document is strong. This is not strong like that. So, in the absence of a will, then this has to be taken into account. No? It can be challenged. Of course, it can be challenged. A will also can be challenged. Yeah. The doctrine of relative strength. The will is stronger. This has got relative. Okay. Now, supposing in the will, there's a will now. I am leaving everything to my wife. But this small contribution I am making to this person. Here, what will come in? Can you say everything to wife, therefore that should not be there? The contribution to the other person should not be there. Again, relative strength. The rule of exceptions will come in. Yeah. It is called anavakasha. In sutra literature, this comes in. When you are studying Panini Sutra, which will be applicable? Where, if you rule out their exception, there is no applicability in itself there. But it is mentioned, therefore it has to be applicable. Therefore, you have to take into account everything except the small thing. Rules of interpretation. It is applicable across the board in everything. When you study science, this law will work under this conditions and exceptions are maintained. No? This is a doctrine of relative strength. Now, you have to understand that before you understand the next para. Okay. Etat tadrashaka amsha abhiprayena bala abala adhikarne. Now, there is an adhikarna regarding inditi kartavyata. Okay. About, in this passage that has been dealing with relative strength, there is a statement. Sa Vaishvadevya abhyajnaha vajibhyo vajinam. Okay. Sa amiksha Vaishvadevya. And vajibhya vajinam. These curds belong to Vaishvadevaha, and the way, what is left behind? The way is for Vajinam. If you look at the footnote, they will give you the context of it. Purvam, Unansa, Sutra 3, etc., etc., etc. And that gives you the context of what is strong, what is weak, etc. The methodology of analysis. Okay? Methodology of analysis. What he is trying to say here is, one part goes here, one part goes here. Okay? Therefore, since the yajna is about Vishwadeva, then that becomes the main connection. So, other things becomes relatively small things in the small thing. Okay? Ityadri Vaishwadeva yaga amiksha anitvena na vajana ankanksha ityadi vyavahara. Therefore, since it is connected with Vaishwadeva, why are you bringing Vajanam here? Yeah? Vajana, the deity Vajana, why are you bringing it here? Not, he says, Nanu tatrapi Vajanasya jignasa avishayatve api tad yogyatvam asyave pradevya dravyasya. Since he says, the Purvapaksha, tatrapi, okay, Vajnasya jignasa avishayatve. The vajna is not the subject of discussion. The way, etc. is not the subject of discussion here. Tad yogitvam asti eva. But the yogitvam is there. Why? I neither. There is way present here. Now what to do with that? Okay. Why he says, Yaga nirupita jignasa vishayat avachedagatvaditi chetna. Because you are dealing with the yaga and the object is present there. Then you have to deal with it. It seems logical. He says, unless it's stated, it is not logical. Na, why? Samana jatiya padartha anvaya bodha viraha sahakrita pradeya dravyatasveva tad ajakatvena. He says, the connection with the yaga will depend solely on what has to be offered. If that has been mentioned, that's all there is connection, because this is Veda, not anything else. I gave you the example of legal document to understand. Oops, sorry. It's okay, we'll pick it up afterwards. These are two receipts that we had given. Thanks. Okay. So it is what is to be offered, nothing else. He says, samajatiya. Or he says, in the absence of an appropriate connection, it doesn't come in. Okay. Therefore, unless, in other words, what? See, the way is connected, agreed. But unless stated, it need not be. Like in the same legal document. What to do with this pet dog? Pet dog is connected to the owner. You only talked about possessions. I don't know. Not stated. Connected, but not stated. Therefore, you can't decide it has to go to this person or that person. Then, of course, in Vyavahara mutual, you can decide it. Or both say they don't want it. Then what? Okay. Amikshatven evam vajanasya tat anuprastitvad. Okay. Okay. All right. So he is giving a Vedic example. Now this will be clear only if you have done some Artha Sangraha. Okay. I taught you all Tarka Sangraha. I have not taught you all Artha Sangraha. Therefore, okay, the whole, remember in this whole para, the thrust of the para is this much. The thrust of the para is that you take into account what is stated. Okay, take into account what is stated and this. Therefore, your yogita, akanksha, he is discussing with respect to akanksha, expectancy. So, the expectancy has to be connected with what is stated. Okay. It cannot be, because you can bring in any expectation from anywhere. No? But that is not the subject under discussion. So, expectancy has to be limited to what is being discussed. Like what is being discussed here is the Vedanta thing. Supposing someone comes and asks, Swamiji, who do you think will win the match today? That expectancy is also there. No, it is not there because, but the match is happening. Correct, match is happening. Yeah. But that is not part of the expectancy of the statement here. So, statement you go by that. Okay. So, all this elaborateness is with respect to that. Okay. Expectancy is not necessarily with whatever is connected. It has to be with what is being discussed. Because in the world, everything is connected with everything else. What is not connected with what? Are you connected with a black hole? Of course you are connected. Why? You are connected with gravity, and black hole is about supergravity. Right? You are connected. So, anything and everything is connected. But anything and everything doesn't become the tatparya of a thing or the akanksha, the expectancy of a thing. So, the context of expectancy also matters. Yeah. What do you expect in the situation? Yeah. In a cricket situation, don't bring in Vedanta. Okay? That's not the expectancy there. Yeah, it's obvious, but it's obvious in Vyavahara, not necessarily obvious in this thing. Yeah, because some of the questions are asked. Swamiji, can this be connected with that? Haven't you heard questions like that? Not valid here. Yeah. Not valid here because there is no connection.
You behave in a social context,
Yeah.
get some social things.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Whereas here, it becomes a bit vaguer. In the Purva it's much more problematic. Because as I said, the Veda is just mentioned statement. No? Then relative strength, association. That's why he has mentioned those 6 things in the footnote on page 89-90. Okay? Page 89. Where direct enunciation. And direct enunciation depends upon case endings, etc. Indication, linga. Supplementary statement. Okay? Context, prakarna. Order in which it is said. And derivation. What you derive out of a statement. All relate to the same thing. Each succeeding them is weaker. Like direct statement is the strongest. So that's why even in Vedanta we say, direct statement. Only if the direct statement is not tenable, you go for implied meaning, linga. Then they bring in other things. Supplementary statement to support the direct statement. Okay? Context, prakarna. In which context are you discussing things? That becomes the most important thing. But there's weaker in strength, direct statement. Yeah. Order, the order in which it is said. Yeah. And derivation. What do you imply from it? What do you mean by this? You derived meaning. Now that will be the weakest compared to direct statement. No? When you're directly saying it, why are you going for what you are deriving from that statement? So each succeeding one is weaker than the previous one. This is for analysis of the Purva Mimamsa. Like how we did in Uttara Mimamsa. Upakrama, Upasamhara, beginning and ending. Tatparya Nishchaya, beginning and ending. Abhyasaha, Tatparya. All this, intention, all this is there in Uttara Mimamsa. Similarly, for Purva Mimamsa, these are the 6 points. Relative strength. So each succeeding one, we don't have the relative strength in Vedanta. Some of it is applicable, like direct statement is applicable. But we can't say implied meaning is not applicable because direct statement is more. But that it is relatively there. That is why we spend time establishing that the direct statement doesn't make sense. Therefore, we have to go for implied meaning. We spend time on that because of this necessary. Yeah. So in this whole context. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. It's not applicable everywhere. That's why this is analysis. This 6 is analysis of the Purva Mimamsa. First portion of the Veda is analyzed like this. So you will see directly it said, offer this. All right, we will offer this. No, directly is not said, but there is some implication. All right, if directly is not said, then you go for it. Then what is the order of offering? Okay. No, directly said this, then that is more important than the order of it mentioning. Supposing there is an order. Okay. This type of wood, rice, barley, ghee. In order, ghee comes last. But there is a direct statement saying, first offer ghee. So even though in the order, the ghee comes last, direct statement is stronger than the order of mentioning. Can you see? This is how the first section is analyzed. Upakrama Upasamhara. Yes, yeah. That's for Vedanta analysis.
Only three or is there some other?
There are others also, but we will stick to that for the time being. Yeah. Some of it like order and this will come into the picture. You can't ignore this. You can't ignore it. Yeah. But that's not the main thing is Upakrama Upasamhara, etc. Why? Why this difference has come between Vedanta and this? Because here it's all about karma. And there are different karmas in each section. Whereas in Vedanta it's about jnanam. And there is only one thing right through the whole thing. Through all the Upanishads there is only one thing. Therefore the approach is different. Approach is different. Yeah. Purva Mimamsa, this approach is necessary.
But to understand, we also use at certain places
Yeah.
logic and
Yeah. All that. That is common. That's common right through. Yeah. Okay. Then next we go into Yogyata, etc. That we will do next class. Okay. Next class we will do that. Om Tat Sat. Good place to stop. Okay.